Alrighty, everyone, Supreme Kami over here. So back for more Thursday night update over here. In terms of right now, I'm actually on the Twitter page right now, just checking out this new campaign that just dropped. So this is gonna be a new multi-mission with a large-scale mobile armor is coming up right now. So they're actually gonna be giving us like a sort of like a voting, not really like a voting system, but more of like guessing what do we think this unit is gonna be in terms of what is gonna be the mobile armor. I think the biggest hint is definitely gonna be a F91 right over here, and then this one I believe is the is it Via Gina, something like that. So that unit right there, if I can make this a little bit bigger, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys know what this unit is already. These two right here are more of like a custom based unit over here, so they're not really like representing the overall gist of it. But it's definitely gonna be the F91 and then the Vina Gina over here. So they actually says down here, um, it says that if you evolve, for example, I don't know, like I didn't meant to click on this one. I just want to highlight to see which one is actually what mobile armor this one is. This one is actually from the Victory series, so it's not really related to the F91. So we all think that this one over here, the Ruffle Sia, if that's how you pronounce it, this is highly definitely going to be the one over here. Just because they kind of promote F91 right here. I do highly suggest everyone to retreat because for every retreat or for 1,000 retreat, we actually get the five plus parameter gear pieces over here. 5x grove hanger. They didn't say specify what it is. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be like the basic version, so it's gonna give us like 50. But if you can get multiple thousands of retreat, that would be good. So I highly suggest everyone, if you guys have Twitter, make sure to log into your Twitter and retweet this right now. So I will actually retweet this right now. Then retweet right here, and then bam, yep. That's it. You just have to click that button, and then we can get all of these rewards right here. And then in terms of like the quiz right here, this is what we're gonna get. If we get it right, we get 10x AI marks capsule tickets over here. Other than that, if we don't get it right, we still get 5, so which is still pretty good right there as well. So now let me transition back into what is it? Transition back into the game right here. So in terms of tonight's update over here, let's see what they have dropped us over here. In terms of others, they have opened up in terms of what just a preview for the time number 100. Wow, that's kind of crazy already. We are approaching the 100 arena over here. So in terms of 1v1, 1v1 match are going to be in shot advanced mode over here with no other restriction. Shot advanced mode means shot attacks are going to be stronger while melee attacks are going to be weaker. So I don't even know for how many weeks they have been focused heavily on shot based arena over here. So that actually coincides with the banner we have tonight. So we'll just kind of talk about that real quick in a bit. In terms of 3v3, there's not going to be any restriction. And then if you set the word tag amphibious in your operator base during the arena, you can get more arena points right there. So I'm pretty sure at this point in time, I hope that majority of the players are actually setting their operator base to the specific one, like the indicator right there. So for this week, I believe it's Ace exclusive. So next week it's going to be amphibious, and then the following week it should be commander. So I think they're just gonna be doing this in order, I guess. So it's gonna make it a lot more easier to kind of keep track because like the problem right now with the operator base, whatever part you are gonna be equipped onto that, you can't really use it, for example, to like do things out. So that's kind of good. So we can just kind of remember it's gonna go in order, so we can always backtrack a word tag to just kind of clear up whatever we don't need, for example. So that's gonna be pretty much it, right? In terms of the new banner they have dropped for us tonight, it's going to. Oh, besides that, right? They actually have fixed it, the alteration capital needed in terms of the warfare alteration over here. So the correct one should have been 500,000 instead of 5 million. So anyone did alterate previously should be able to get a refund of 4 million and 4 million 5,000 right there. So that's gonna be good. So coming back to whoops, let me click back on here actually. Well, you know what? Let's just actually go to the capsule page real quick. We have a new banner. This is gonna be is it a combat power up? I don't know what PU. I have no idea what PU stands for right there. But anyways, this is gonna be a heavily shot based or exclusively shot based part that they feel like or they think is the best one out of the bucket right there. So let's actually kind of go down the list right here. I think they give us everything necessary, right? They gave us the wings zero. Keep this in mind. Everything is alterated, 6-star alteration already, so you don't really have to spend, let's say, 10 million to alterate, and then you don't need to use your W awakening circuit. So that is going to be a huge advantage, right? But I would say this banner does come with like a mini step up, if you will. Does offer a ticket as well. So I would say any of these part can be decent, right? So let's actually take a look at the draw real quick. Okay, so what you're looking at, let's say a 30% chance right now. So in terms of like one of the part, right? One of the parts has a 30% chance of getting one of these feature ones over here, like whatever is on right here, and the 50% chance of getting these other so-called parts right here as well, and then 20% chance of beating a 4-star. And then as we progresses through the steps, it's going to be heavily based towards sort of like these regular 5-star parts, the exclusive 5-star part, and then you have your 6-star alternated parts already over here. So in terms of the last step, it's going to be a 100% chance of guarantee right here. So that's pretty good. In terms of the freebie, they also going to drop another one of these right here so you can pick up. But the catch is right. The catch is you have to do 2 rounds, right? Because if we kind of take a look at the shot real quick, you can see that it requires 2 tickets. So if anyone has not summoned on that banner yet, you guys better think twice before even hopping into the banner, just because you do need 2 right here. So it says that you need 2 tickets right here, which is yeah. If you guys, for example, do one routes, you can definitely pick up this right here. So I think the best idea is, if, right, I'm not suggesting anyone to like hop into the banner right now, like before I even talk about that. If, for example, you summon on one whole step up, you should be able to get one of these right here. One tickets right here. You can definitely exchange it for either like a EX skill upgrade never here, or like a trade up pincer. So it's either of your choice. So I feel like chasing for a specific part, let's say I got the GM Buster Sword right here, and then I want to upgrade, let's say, the portrait, for example. I can definitely come down here and just kind of pick it up. I feel like if we spend another 75,000 on this banner, it's not. It's gonna be a little bit pricey, right? 15,000 is quite the price tag right there. So, but while we're here already, I guess we can just kind of talk about the parts that are featured. Wing Zero Gundam Head is actually pretty good. I feel like the only downside is no armor wise. War tag wise is gonna be a pro tag and a high firepower. This actually is it's gonna be a heavily shop based centric head over here. It's just unfortunate back in the day when they made like how they designed it, like the word tag was for these over here. They actually give it like a pro tag because like this is the main protagonist too, so they're like, all right, it does fits overall theme, right? But it actually does not. This one is pro tag is more of like a melee oriented tag, while high firepower is a bridge. So that's why it's more of like a just an inconvenient thing. They did save it by giving it like a shot attack increased by 35%. So this right here kind of solidifies that it is more of like a shot based or yeah, shot based head over here. So what I get this one, for example, it's gonna depends, because I feel like building, like, obviously you don't want to run pro tag. Not that you cannot, right? You can definitely put in whatever word tag you want. It's just not optimal, for example. And I feel like a lot of people may not, for example, get the know-how of doing this right here. So, you definitely want to take a pro tag. So you're probably left with like 17 partridge slot to be working around. If you have any unnecessary, word tag that you don't want, kind of cut that down to like the bare minimum of 3. So this set is definitely good. No knocks on it. I think right now I would say it's still well within the top 10, for example. In terms of this specific number, I don't really remember, but that head is definitely good. In terms of the high new Gundam head part over here, this is going to be another excellent part to be using. This one I would say it's going to be slightly better, in terms of like the word tag wise, it's going to be extremely geared towards a shop build space. You got Commander, which is I would say one of the more partnered word tag with Ace exclusive. Gundam type is pretty much locked on this one over here, because in terms of the second part or first portrait, does want you to use Gundam type to activate that initial EXP charge boosted by 20%, which is pretty. I would say if you're not running Gundam's high, you're either running high firepower. But if you guys do not have the most optimal setup, for example, I'm pretty sure you guys are either running, let's say, mid range to like long range. So this head does need you to be using Gundam's high. If you can fulfill that, this head is definitely going to be a good starter, for example, because EXO charge boosted is definitely a good trade to have right here. Good war tag set right here. And then in terms like the stat wise, what is the placement? I believe this one is definitely within the top 10 as well. So this one is safe to use for now until we get a better head part that can be pumping out up to like a 40% trait, 40% boosting and all that. We do have Haley's already, but I would say he's currently not really obtainable for the current moment. Just because they're like a battle lock suit, so we don't even know when it's gonna be like the returning timeline for that. So this is a little bit unfortunate. So right now I feel like this one is definitely gonna be a solid part to be picking up. In terms of the Destiny Impulse torso over here, I'll say this one is alright, not good already. Just because you do have an EXQ base already. In terms of the tag, I feel like this one is gonna be a little bit more generous. Reason being that this one had mid range, which I feel like a lot of like mid range shootable unit or shootable player definitely be using that. It's either gonna be mid range or long range. So this one's definitely gonna be working out just fine. It's just that this one does not have an EXQ, and potentially, if possible, you guys definitely need to have a sub slot that has any portrait that can work well with your build. So that's only going to be my recommendation. I mean, I still do people like double, sub slot and EXQ onto EXQ, which is I don't know, man. Like you guys definitely need portrait. I can't even like say how many times I've said, oh, like prioritize portrait, because portrait is at the end of the day gonna make up the majority of like what kind of damage output you guys are looking at. Simply going for like the pure parameter, it looks shiny. I like seeing my stat. Let's say 130. Was it 130,000 K or even 140,000 K? Like I like seeing those stats, but if you're gonna go into, let's say, multi mission and hit like a wet noodle, for example, or you're pretty much embarrassing yourself, because you guys, those player who actually does that lacks the knowledge of the game. Purely for like the combat power stats or even the parameter stat and neglecting the portrait. That's probably the first mistake they're making into the game. Eventually they will know, but that's gonna be like a big, huge investment if they want to do something like that. But hopefully, player does learn quickly on that part. You cannot really solely rely on just your parameters and all that. So I'll definitely skip out on this one in terms of the Destiny Impulse right here. In terms of the Gun and Crossbow model, this actually does have pretty good stat. This one have good stat, and this one does have a pretty powerful EX skill. This one unfortunately is a custom EX skill base, but this one is not giving us that premium S power, unfortunately. This one is good, awakenable EX skill, not bad overall. Good stat, I believe, right? Word tag wise, I feel like will work for a lot of majority people as well, because you do have ace exclusive and long range boost. I feel like it's either if you're not like the most optimal player, like mid range player, for example, it's either you guys like mid tier level players, definitely gonna be like a long range, for example, or mid range. So this one is actually pretty decent as well, so not bad. Wing Zero arm over here. Let's see what we have for right now. This one I would say just not good at all. Although this arm is giving like a projectile speed boost by 15%, it's not really giving out. This is more like playing like a different type of game. For example, what the portrait is portraying is not actually giving you like the most optimal boosting. For example, so I feel like this arm is not like a necessity. For example, so I would say definitely trying to skip on this one for sure. Stat wise, definitely gonna be good. What about the crossbow arm over here? The crossbow arm is good as well. Okay. This one, if anyone, I'm pretty sure anyone playing the 3v3 arena is getting tired of those, what is it, those CD reduction build. But, they're going to be continue to drop these parts over here because they exist anywhere within, like, I believe, We don't have anything on the head part as of yet. I believe we do have something on the arm, the chest, the leg, the backpack, and even some on the ranged weapon, and then as well as the pilot slot. This is not going to be anything that's going to go out of commission for any time, because that is what people are actually using to complete their daily league arena, right? So this is more of like a game. Let's say a game design they put in. It's not something they'll just, because originally they actually did not really debuff it, but they did capital, I believe. It was not 100% before. I remember people talking about that. I think I forgot whichever update it was. They actually allow players to get up to 100%. So that's why eventually you see a lot of people running those 100% cooldown builds. They don't, like, you don't really need it. For example, even on League, you don't need cooldown reduction build to finish it. I I was able to demonstrate that we don't really need to have that. So this is, it's good to have that, but it really, this is gonna be a huge investment, which I feel like looking at it at a Sokai tier is not that much worth it. So this one is definitely gonna be a good skip as well. But I just want to elaborate a little bit more on these cooldown, EXP cooldown reduction trait right there. So these two I feel like are not the most optimal, because like you cannot really take advantage of only 6%. 6% is just not cutting it for a cooldown reduction build. So going through any of the standard part is definitely going to be a lot more better. All right, going down to the Penelope, huh? Penelope has kind of aged a little bit. Word tag wise, I feel like it's good. With the new addition of the 4-star word tag gear, Federation this one is so a pretty successful, being used. I would have to say, coming in at 210% of an increase. So it's definitely good, definitely better than, let's say, Ace exclusive or even Commander type, for example, or even like let's say, not going to be better than mid range and long range, but definitely a solid option to be looking at. We do currently have a lot of good option that kind of revolves around, let's say, Ace exclusive or even Federation. So that's a pretty good combo. But for this one, I would have to say again, if you are going to be using this league, for example, definitely try to bring out some subslot that has some good portrait potentially. But in terms of league wise, the stat is not the highest currently. So purely chasing for this league is not good, I guess. Not that it's not good, it's just not something you will need, for example, right? I can say that same thing for the high new version card as well. The stat wise is not the most impressive. Portrait giving out a close shot attack, was it? No, crit up by 30%, so we can just ignore that right off the bat. Good word tag set as well, Commander and Federation, so that's a pretty good combo right there as well, so not bad. Ace exclusive, Federation, and then Commander is the overall majority bulk of what the high new version card actually make out of, so this is actually pretty good, I would have to say. All right, in terms of the backpack, this one is good. This one is definitely going to be on like something I'm currently using. Just unfortunate it does have Gundam type, or not Gundam type, Pro tag right there. So you are gonna have to subsidize something to get some Vortec, a portrait anyway. So this one I feel like is a good to use, for example. So I'll just leave it at that. What about this one right here? The stat on this one is not the highest either. Word tag is pro tag and high firepower, so having that pro tag right there is a little bit of a problem as well. I will have to say, but this one is definitely doable as well. In terms of the stat wise, this is a little bit lower compared to the Wing Zero. All right, what is this one right here? This one, huh? This one I'm not gonna say it's a good recommendation for shop builds right here, just because of the word tag wise, aces or high firepower and high mobility. This one is actually on an EX skill base as well, so any sub slot on a twin saber is not the most common. So this one is gonna be a hot skill for sure. Moving on to the strike freedom beam rifle over here. This one is good for anyone out there trying to build a tanky build, because this one actually gives you a enemy melee power reduced by 30%. So that's that. This one I feel like in terms of the beam saber, this is the majority play role for this beam saber. It's more to be like a defensive build over here, a revolving around a defensive build. So that's why you see these enemy melee power reduced by 70 or just whatever percentage it maxed out at. So it's not gonna be like the most optimal. I would have to say we do have some better standard version. I would recommend, let's say, the P-type wings, the Wing Gundam Saber, the Beam Saber, because not only does it give it initial charge boosting, it also gave it EXQ power boosting. So that's why that was going to be a lot more better than this one over here. Alright, moving on to everyone's favorite weapon to be using, the Twin Buster Rifle, or aka the Rolling Buster. This one is going to be an AoE attacker, so I think a lot of people have been seeing that in terms of arena matches lately. So this one is going to be good for pickup right here for sure. Stat wise, it's going to be top of the Root of Swole, but unfortunately, this one is going to be tied to EX skill. And then I don't even think we have that many good option in terms like a long rifle category wise over here. So this one unfortunately will just be a good, a skin use over here. It's just unfortunate, right? You can't really win it all right here. Good stat, but the unfortunate part is if you do sub slot, for example, whatever portrait or whatever stat, right? You're not really getting the most optimal, sub slot transfer to this main part over here. So yeah, this is I would say definitely good, right? Definitely good for the EX skill base over here. The twin buster rifle, definitely good, solid option. But I would not suggest to put this on the main or on the main part. All right, moving on to probably one of our best, currently the best range weapon to be using is going to be the GM Buster Sword right now. This is going to be, I feel like this is definitely going to be the best one to pick up out of the set for now, just because this one does actually give you a 40% trait. Like the other ones, they're not really giving you like the premium vortex or the portrait yet, so this one is good. You have to pick apart, it's definitely going to be this one over here. The Reborn Shield is actually not that good either. The stat wise is not. I think any shield wise, anywhere around this area is pretty good. Just the word type wise is kind of wonky, and this one is tied to like E skill over here, so that's why it's not. I would not recommend the Reborn Shield right here. Moving on to the last thing over here, we have the new Gundam Shield over here. The stat on this is gonna be crazy like that. Shot defense coming in at 6,000. It's gonna be pretty good with that change skill, obviously. But in terms of the portrait wise over here, with power attribute, buff effect skill up, time up by 22%, and that bad part EX skill boost by 35%. So the buff effect skill time is just prolonging whatever the EX skill you guys have, whatever effects it's giving you. So this is it's good, but it's not really like something too important, I would say, unless your build is more like a supporting type role. So whatever EX skill buff you guys are using, or whatever buff EX skill you want to prolong that for your allies and all that. So that's where it can be useful for. This one, unfortunately, is gonna tie down to the back part, so it's not gonna be more like a universal wise over here. So that's probably the letdown. Even for the shot base shield, I would not really recommend this one. I don't believe this one is the highest stat in the game for the shot base shield over here. Word tag wise is going to be a little bit more hard to manage as well. Pro tag, so that is definitely not going to be the best one to kind of pick out from over here. So I feel like the GM Buster Sword is definitely going to be the best pickup for sure. Maybe if you guys do have an extra tickets, for example, going for the high new Gundam pen is definitely a good choice as well. So I'm just gonna be breaking down all his part over here. So hopefully it's not too, let's say, too long of a video over here. But that is gonna be basically my recommendation over here. Just trying to go over each and every single one of these parts, in case anyone does have question about them. These are just purely based on my, what I think about them, just purely based on my opinion, how I feel about them, like in relation to how they actually would me using them in the actual build right here. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video over here, and then I will catch you guys all on the next one.